Welcome back all. In the last session, we understood profession, professional ethics and the present scenario which is driving the attention of all human beings. Now we are going to understand profession in the context with comprehensive human goal. So, any profession is a mode of participation by human beings in the larger order in pursuance of comprehensive human goal. So, the purpose of doing that profession, doing that activity is so that human beings can take part in the larger order so that comprehensive human goal is achieved. In the process, one is able to contribute towards the livelihood of one's family and also participate in the larger order constituting the society and the nature around. So, it is expected that when I am doing some activity as a profession, I am taking care of my family, I am earning our livelihood, and along with that, somehow I am contributing in the participation in the larger order, which is consisting of society and the nature around. So, my profession is affecting my family as well as society and the nature around. All these activities do require a certain degree of skills or knowledge competence and are expected to be performed in consonance with the comprehensive human goal. We do require skills or knowledge and it is expected that we perform it in consonance with the comprehensive human goal. So, while doing the activities along with the skill set, the comprehensive human goal is also remembered all the times. So, what are the ethical conduct of profession? The real way to ensure ethical conduct of profession calls for a correct understanding of profession, a correct understanding of happiness and prosperity, then to develop the competence to actualize it. So, I must understand what is the motive behind this profession, what happiness means to me, what prosperity is to me, and then by understanding the profession, understanding my happiness and then prosperity, I am going to develop a competence to actualize it, to get that level of happiness which was expected for me. The purpose of value education is to enable the development of this understanding and competence which is essential to ensure professional ethics. So that is why this value education is there, which is going to develop this understanding within us and competence within us, which will make sure that profession is carried out so as to participate in the larger order which is considering me as well as entities which are around me. So, we will talk about some prevailing approaches towards promotion of professional ethics. So, some examples could be promoting awareness about professional ethics by introducing new courses, refresher courses, and case studies for those who are taking up that professional course. So, with the help of these courses, refresher courses, and case studies, it might be easier for human beings to understand what is their role when they carry out that particular profession. The other thing could be administering oaths and prescribing codes of ethical conduct for specific professional discipline. So it might happen that for computer professionals, for civil engineers, for electronics engineers, the codes of ethical conduct are varying depending on what kind of profession they are in. So there is a way by which oaths are administered and codes of ethical conduct are prescribed so that people who are going to take part in that profession are going through it. The other could be setting up mechanisms for intensive audit inspection and monitoring the activities. It might be made sure that people are following these practices into their profession and somebody is there who is monitoring these activities. Some audit inspections are carried out to see whether it was getting really taking place the way it was expected to be. Then the other way could be framing more stringent laws and devising harder punishments for offences. So it might happen that the laws are made very stringent, and if at all somebody is devising or getting away from these professional practices, then the harder punishments are devised for those kinds of offenses. Promoting transparency in working systems through mechanisms like RTI, that is Right to Information Act. So what work I am doing, that should be visible to all who are getting some kind of benefit out of it. So my work is always monitored with the help of these kinds of acts which are bringing transparency between the stakeholders and the one who is working for it. The other set of activities are carrying out sting operations and widely publicizing serious lapses in ethical conduct of profession through media. So, sting operations are carried out, and widely it is told to people that this is the situation or a person which is making society unethical. So that is one way of carrying out the ensuring of ethical conducts. Second would be encouraging whistleblowing by individuals or groups. So some point of time, if something is going wrong, if that is observed by an individual or group, then immediately people has to give voice to that particular wrong action. So that is one way of doing it. Setting up Lokpals, vigilance commissions, ethical committees, tribunals, consumer protection forums, etc., so that the ethical practices are ensured. Then filing public interest litigations. So that is also one way of making sure that ethical practices are getting followed. So by filing this public interest litigation, it might happen that people are getting aware about what is going wrong with them. So now what is important to understand, if we read this line now, prevailing approaches towards promotion of professional ethics and then their inadequacy. So even if all of these measures are there which are making sure that ethical practices are getting followed, then why it is happening that there are unethical practices which are still there? So the reason is some of the above measures will become more effective if accompanied by change in ethos. Right now the ethos are it is directing towards accumulating more and more. If we have that scenario currently prevailing us, then even if such kinds of hundreds of practices are getting followed, it might not happen that these approaches are effective in making sure that things are going right. Some of them may become unnecessary if the focus is on developing ethical competence. So what is required is that some of these will become effective if these are accompanied by change in ethos. So that is what we have to make sure. Now what are the silent features which are characterizing ethical competence? So first is clarity about the comprehensive human goal. If I know how I am going to take part in the larger order, if that is clear to me, then it is going to bring the right understanding, and that is how that could be understood when that particular profession is carried out. Confidence in oneself as well as confidence in the harmony, coexistence and self-regulation in entire existence based on the right understanding of oneself and the rest of the existence. So we have used this word right understanding many a times. So we need to understand that right understanding is not merely an intellectual exercise. So at the level of thought I understand that this is right or this is wrong, and I try to bring the right understanding in me. But it is at the level of realization which is reflected in thought, behavior and other actions which are there. So just understanding the things which are right or not is not enough. That has to be realized and brought into the behavior and action of the individuals. So competence of mutually fulfilling behavior, clarity and confidence in ethical human conduct, and its correlation with sustainable personal as well as collective happiness and prosperity. If we have surety of really there is coexistence, really ethical human conduct can be brought into our lives, and that is how we are going to make sure that there is sustainable personal as well as collective happiness and prosperity is there because of this. Then that would be easier for us to get that right understanding in with the help of realization. Competence of mutually enriching interaction with nature, ability to assess the needs of physical facilities for the family and their fulfillment through production systems which also ensure harmony in the nature. Now I do not, for example, if I have identified the physical facilities for my family, okay, then while fulfilling it, I am not going to take part in such a production system which is creating harm to the nature. So once I understand that I have to go to the market and I have to bring something for my family, then I know that to carry it, to bring it to my home, I'll be needing a bag. So basic, very simple example this is. So whatever is needed to bring that goods to my home, I need a bag. Now if just taking a bag from the shopkeeper, which is a plastic bag which is creating harm to the nature, I am going to always have this remembrance in my mind that what I am going to take and what I need to do for that. So you will always have that self awareness at every moment within you, if at all we have this understanding of ethical human conduct. Then holistic vision about technologies, production systems and management techniques. So we must develop this vision about why we are using technologies. So technology is used for welfare of the society, or it could be used for destroying the society. But if we have this holistic vision, then we are going to use the technology only and only for welfare of the society, benefit of the people who are living in it, production systems which are giving good values to people, management techniques which are followed, which are making sure that people are doing work in a holistic way. There is a balance in the society, and there is there is no imbalance of giving wages to people, or taking out more from the people in terms of work and giving them less. So these kinds of things will not happen if we have holistic vision about technologies, production systems and management techniques. The next is adequate realization of one's social responsibility. So if we have this realization of my social responsibility, then we are going to make sure that we are able to complete that responsibility from our side. So now to conclude, I would like to say sincere effort towards building up the ethical competence of human beings in general and professionals in particular through proper value education is an effective way to safeguard professional ethics. So we have seen some of the ways, but if they are accompanied with the building of ethical competence, then that is going to make sure that professional ethics are getting followed. The increase of unethical practices in various professions, the contradictions and dilemmas are primarily due to the prevailing worldview focusing on profit maximizations. Now, why the focus on profit maximization? Because we have understood till now, our understanding was I am body and body needs physical facilities, and more physical facilities are going to give me happiness, and that is how that ethos was developed for this particular era. So now these can only be resolved through right understanding of existential harmony, which is there at all levels and living accordingly. So that understanding of harmony at all levels, if that could be understood rightly, then living according to that would become possible for us. I hope this helps you to always be aware about whatever acts we are doing, that we are able to evaluate whether that is good for me, my society and people who are living around me. So these are the con- references which I have used for preparing these contents, and thank you so much.